For about an hour today, I read pieces from just one day's edition of a major newspaper, along with scanning some online publications. And I found articles about war, terrorism, suppression of free speech, more suppression of free speech, political conflict, more of that, racism, several of those, opioid addiction, angry and entitled children, global warming, child porn, child trafficking, government corruption everywhere, all over the world, illegal immigration, and corporate dishonesty on a grand scale involving billions of dollars. That's one edition of one paper. As always, in every article, there was a strong tone of victimhood, like, this is so terrible, how could this be happening? Followed immediately by blaming somebody. The other political party, the economy, schools, the government, lack of law, too much law, lack of law enforcement, too much, and on, always blaming. And the proposed solutions either had little hope of being implemented, or they had already failed previously 100 times in previous laws. Increasingly, the world is becoming sick on so many levels. So let's compare this to an actual medical illness in a person. Imagine that we accompany a patient who arrives in a doctor's office. He presents with bleeding gums and tooth loss, skin wounds that don't heal, rectal bleeding, muscle and bone pain, anemia, shortness of breath, swelling of the legs. He's not doing well. So we address each one of those symptoms. We clean his teeth, clean and bandage his wounds, give him narcotics for the pain, do a blood transfusion, administer oxygen, and prescribe diuretics for the leg swelling. As we do all that, each symptom does decrease briefly, but they keep coming back. And then they get worse, and the patient dies. That'd be one way to treat it. Or we can go back in time, let's start over, same patient, same symptoms, we don't need to list them. Let's see if we can find an underlying cause for all these symptoms and treat that. It turns out that this patient has scurvy, which results from a lack of just one molecule, amazingly, vitamin C, which is both inexpensive and abundantly available. Every drugstore has pounds of it. We give the man some pills and change his diet, maybe prescribe citrus fruits, maybe don't do pills, and his symptoms steadily disappear, and he returns to health. Just as scurvy is very simple to treat when you know the cause, so are all the social problems I just listed in the newspaper. When we know the underlying cause, all those problems are simple to treat. Sounds too good to be true. No, it's not too good to be true, and it is simple. With human problems, social problems, we first have to understand what human beings need more than anything else, at least as much as the body needs vitamin C. What we all need is to feel loved. Intuitively, we know that, but not just any kind of love will do. The word love has become diluted and distorted to the point that we talk about loving chocolate and loving each other in the same sentence and almost with the same meaning. The kind of love we all need is unconditional, the kind we don't have to earn, the kind with no taint of disappointment or irritation. And most of us have no idea what that kind of love would even look like. We've never seen it. And if we don't get enough of that unconditional love, pain is the consistent result, just as scurvy is consistently painful. And then we act out to protect ourselves and to diminish our discomfort. All of this shouldn't be a surprise in childhood, where just about everything begins. When children lack sufficient unconditional love with no disappointment or anger, they're drowning. And that is why they whine, get angry, complain, lash out, think only of themselves, and become addicted to phones, video games, and whatever. After 30 years of teaching and writing about unconditional love, I can state with certainty, doesn't take a study, that children who feel loved simply Do not become addicted to phones, social media, and porn. They don't whine and complain. They're not selfish and angry. I've seen this with my eyes. And they don't grow up to become adults who hate people of other races or cultures or political parties or gender identities or sexual orientations or social views. Imagine. They have no reason to abuse opioids. They don't shoot guns at people. Children who feel loved just don't do that. And that is the solution to war, terrorism, political conflict, child trafficking, and all the other issues that we've already talked about. The solution to the world's problems is, wait for it, it's love. Deep down we know that, but we don't do anything about it, mostly because we don't know what to do. Instead, we implement social programs. We scream at each other on talk shows. We drop bombs. So what can we do? Governments will not save us with love, nor will social programs, which we have already proven with our own experience over a great many centuries. And yet we keep repeating what doesn't work. The long-term solution is parents who will learn how to find unconditional love for themselves and then share it with their kids. Yes, in the short term, we still have to address war and famine and disease. But if we want a world that is, in the long term, not ruled by selfishness and conflict, we have to begin to learn how to find unconditional love for ourselves, which we can then share with our kids. You can begin this. You can change your family, and by extension, as more do it, the world. Go to reallove.com and learn how.